Omar, can you walk our listening audience through the structure of this 12-week program? What makes your curriculum so unique and what makes your curriculum so unique in preparing students for real-world tech jobs?
Most certainly, Chris, and do want to acknowledge and appreciate you giving this program visibility on your wonderful show, and thanks for hosting us. Now, we have three different modules of the program. The first one, the most successful, where we have nearly 150 students. 50 of them have already graduated so far, and the remaining 140 or so are going through. It's a 12 weeks long program. It exposes our students to 5 key topics, namely cybersecurity, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, data analytics, programming, so on and so forth. We also have hired some former recruiters from Microsoft and Amazon to come and work with our students and teach them on how to upgrade their resumes, how to upgrade the skills of interviewing, and be ready when those jobs arrive. And consequently, we have seen about 35% of our students within the 30 days of completion of the program have either done internal interviews in jobs that they were already placed or have done external interviews. We have had students who have received promotions in their existing job at the average rate of 25%. And what brought about this success, even in this downturn economy, is a couple of facets. Number one, what we have done is the curriculum is meant for practical tech education. So we have hired people that know that subject matter domain, and they've been doing it for 15, 20 years. So they identify the skills that are necessary for our students that they would hire from our programs, simply put it. Case in point, cybersecurity has got about 4 million openings throughout this country. And we have hired somebody who's running, King County cybersecurity response. We've also hired somebody who is at Microsoft cybersecurity response team. And combined together, these two minds brought about some of the core understanding of what our students would need to accomplish so that big companies and small companies would consider hiring them. Now, this is the first part of the module, Chris. We also have, based on the needs of the younger generation and those who cannot make a commitment for 12 weeks, we have piloted a program which is a month long. It meets once a week for 3 hours each week. And that's meant as a fundamental introductory level and to get enough students excited. And we're doing this with community passageways in Africa Town today as we speak. And the goal is that we will graduate students out of this introductory program, which is a month long, and get them introduced to this 12 weeks long program, which is where they will take their basic fundamental education and learning into intermediate and advanced level. And then last but not least, Chris, we have boot camps concept, which are meant for about 100 hours of concentrated education on a given domain. We're doing this for cybersecurity, we're doing it with data analytics, we're doing it for cloud, and soon we're about to offer AI. In these boot camps, we have typically 10 to 15 students they must complete our 12 weeks program in order to qualify. But then there's about 100 hours of, concerted effort to get students to complete a certification program. Let me give a quick pause there, Chris, to make sure if you have any questions.
Right. Omar, let's talk a little bit about, because, a lot of people, they hear about the tech industry, they hear about these tech jobs, how lucrative they can be, the demand for people to go into tech, and our community, of course, is underserved, and there's some other communities that are underserved going into them as well. But a lot of it has to do with people feeling that they probably don't have the skill sets or can't acquire the skill sets to go into tech. And so what are some of the minimum requirements or things you guys look for somebody to be enrolled in this program in order to be successful?
Excellent question, Chris. Look, to put it bluntly out there is a massive disparity between, other communities and African American community involvement in tech. Case in point, African Americans account for roughly 15% of the U.S. population. But if you look at tech sectors, representation is 5%. On the same token, if you look at Indians, and Asians, they account for a small subset of the U.S. population, about 7.5%, and they account for about 35% in the tech participation. Now, what we have done in a small sample size of about 300 students is first thing what we see, Chris, is most students when they join us, they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they belong in tech. So a lot of the nurturing, a lot of mentorship that we do is to make them comfortable that A, they belong, and B, it's not that difficult. Now, these two things, what we are seeing, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks for our students to start believing in themselves based on the slow, gradual induction of, pre-curated concepts and modules that we introduce to them. And then we move into intermediate and advanced level. And by the time the 12 weeks are done, that almost you see a before and after snapshot. The students, the day one when they show up, they don't know that they can do tech. They don't believe somebody has probably suggested they should do it. It's free of cost, so they say, okay, it's a lower barrier to entry. But by the time 12 weeks are done, Chris, they start believing in themselves. And, it's our curriculum. It's our team of mentors. It's our instructors that care for the community. And more importantly, it's our students that believe in themselves and are putting all the hard work. Our average student puts over 200 hours in self-paced and in classroom, learning over 12 weeks. So phenomenal work.
Yeah. How many days a week or hours a week are they actually in class learning, and then also what does that the work away from the classroom? What does that time commitment look like as well? I know we're talking about 12 weeks, but is it a very intense 12 weeks where you're in class for so many hours and you're putting another, for every hour you're in the class, you're putting in 2 to 3 hours at home working on the stuff? Or what, can you kind of give us a glimpse of kind of what that looks like and what that commitment looks like on the part of the students?
Hey, most certainly. But when we started off, we understood that majority of our students are, self-employed. Average age, as Eddie mentioned, is 40 years old, and they're trying to reskill or upskill their technical pathway. So what we did was we said, weekdays. So we have one cohort that we used to meet Mondays and Wednesdays, another cohort Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 8 in our Kent location at New Beginnings Church. Then what we recognize is there are many students that much rather commit to a half day on a Saturday, twice a month. And that ended up launching, a 5-hour meetup that we do twice a month. So it's about 10 hours in class in that case. Now, for every hour our student spends in the classroom, there are about 2.5 hours. We have self-paced modules. We've also done a big partnership with LinkedIn Learning, which allows for up to 16,000 courses available to all of our students. In combination of our own courses as well as LinkedIn Learning curated modules, we have a very robust learning path that's meant from students who have intermediate to beginning level to ones who want to take their journey to more advanced level. So Chris, to document it in a fundamental level, it's for every hour they spend in our classroom, which is typically about 20 to 40 hours, depending on the module. They're spending about 2 hours on their own. So it comes down to about 120 to 200 hours, depending on what they're trying to pursue.
Okay. And I know you kind of alluded to this a little earlier. I know it's still early with the program, but can you kind of talk about some of the success stories you guys have had so far through the program?
Most certainly. So, look, we are in the process of crossing the threshold of 308 students, and this has all happened based on the leadership of Eddie, as well as the hard work of our students. Our goal is to hit about 1,000 students same time next year, and that's why this funding of UW and other sources of funding is so important, paramount, now more so than ever, right? With AI and everything else, that's going to disrupt our job market completely. Now, the success that we have seen is we have about an 87% completion rate. We have had students who have enrolled in boot camps that would give them industry vendor-neutral certifications like CompTIA and ones from Microsoft. We have had 3 students who got promoted on a self-paced job within a month of completion. We have about 18 students who have been interviewing in big companies. 2 of them have been receiving offers from companies like Microsoft, T-Mobile, Bank of America. And but most importantly, what we are seeing is, which is hard to quantify because in the numbers, students start believing in themselves. And they're going back home, they're teaching their kids, they're teaching their family members, their neighbors, because we do $0 in marketing. So majority of our enrollment and our wait list of 300 plus at this point is based purely on word of mouth.
Mm. And Omar, can you talk about the what happens after the 12-week program is over? Can you talk about the type of support that the program provides for the students after the 12 weeks is over? If there's, I don't know if you guys have, mentorship or whatever that looks like. Can you kind of talk about what that looks like after the 12-week program is over?
Well, certainly, Chris. So look, our emphasis of that partnership with UW would have been about apprenticeship and mentorship at the Bothell campus. So since that was no longer available to us, we ended up doing it in Bellevue at VWorks, which is a co-share space. We have about 10 of our students in the first 2 cohorts as interns for about 90 days. We give them practical projects. We're using this opportunity to also introduce them to other tech companies and hiring managers for job placement. So that's the first prong, and I would love to get this number to 30 students for internship and mentorship. Beyond this, each of our students who graduates has still access to our learning management system for up to 9 months. And we meet on a monthly basis for the ones who have time and willing to, focus on some projects. We also have LinkedIn Learning that's available to our students up to 6 months. And, each of the subscription is about $300 per student per month, so we incur that cost. And then last but not least, where we see most of our alumni, graduate students come back to us is, hey, I'm doing this job interview. Can you help me prep for an interview? Or I'm having this, technical issue, or I'm having this other issue at my work. How would I go about dealing with this? So those kind of mentorship also becomes really important.
Oh, okay. And
Chris, I want to add, Eddie Rye back again. I just want to add that the students get dinner when they get there. Okay, so it's not like you got to come, you got to get something to eat because we are providing the meals for those folks as well. And then I also want to give a shout out to the pastor of the New Beginnings Christian Fellowship, Reverend Dr. Leslie D. Braxton, and also Steve Gray, who is the Chief Operating Officer, and the security team. They do an outstanding job. It is a secure facility, and the only people admitted are the people who are in the classes. So that's the other thing that we have going on. And the word is spreading, unfortunately, and hopefully,